Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
México lindo y querido, si muero sin ti, que digan que estoy dormido y me traigan aquí. De norte a sur, una raza y un mismo país, porque nací mexicano y así he de morir.
México lindo y querido, la tierra donde he nacido, verde, blanco y rojo sigo, mexicano en corazón, representa mi bandera, dentro de México y fuera, viva mi patria guerrera, Dios bendiga mi nación.
Orgulloso mexicano, indio de los de pata rajada, chihuahuense de la sierra tarahumara, por mis venas corre sangre de cultura olmeca y maya, de Cancún a Baja Sur ningún destino se compara. Y aunque nos miren para abajo, que nunca se les olvide que sigue siendo más mex el territorio en que viven. Pese a que un muro divide y hay racismo hacia mi gente, somos norteamericanos, potencia del continente. Viva México, donde sea mi cultura se siente, mexas con el nopal en la frente. Cualquier extraño enemigo se recibe con machetes, indios pero no cobardes, pobres pero muy valientes. Raza de bronce y alma guerrera, aquí nací y aquí viví, seré de aquí hasta que me muera. Norte, sur y centro, familia se considera, y aún afuera porque un mexicano nace donde quiera. Ya el águila sobre el nopal, desde Tamaulipas a Baja Carnal, protege la armada solo federal, aérea, marina, cielo, tierra y mar. De la división del norte defendemos este lado, somos como Pancho Villa, loco revolucionario.
La tierra donde he nacido, verde, blanco y rojo sigo, mexicano en corazón, representa mi bandera, dentro de México y fuera, viva mi patria guerrera, Dios bendiga mi nación.
Ya, de Tijuana a Yucatán, rifa México carnal, 32 estados libres y una sola capital, sus 68 lenguas y su biodiversidad, su gastronomía que es patrimonio de la humanidad. De la tierra del maíz, los mariachis y los tacos, siempre habrá un paisano poniendo a México en alto. Somos más que droga y muerte, más que cárteles y narcos, caudillos cual Morelos y el cura Miguel Hidalgo. Desde las pirámides hasta la selva, la cantona, somos desiertos y playas, bosques, montañas y flora. Ajolotes, chihuahueños, choloscuincles y quetzales, en Pazúchil, Nochebuena, Dalias y Águilas Reales. Los 3000 años que el maya sigue habitando la esférica, Cholula, la ciudad viva más antigua de América. Aguacate y chocolate, el ancestral Teotihuacán, somos el imperio azteca luchando en Tenochtitlán. El ejército insurgente peleando la independencia, Benito Bendigo la República Mexicana. Anhelo que mi tierra reconozca a Jesús, pues si se humilla mi pueblo y clama el nombre de Jesús, si oran y buscan su rostro, entonces Dios nos oirá desde los cielos, perdonará nuestros pecados y sanará nuestra tierra. Declaro vida para México, prosperidad para mi patria, salvación para mi gente, una nueva república emergente, llena de personas que aman su nación y pelean por ella para verla mejor. Amén.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Good to have you guys here. What up, bro? What up? What up? What up? I wanted to, and I'm going to try to go fast on this because I do got stuff to do today. So I had done Sun Worship Part 1 like 2 weeks ago. got into other topics. But yesterday I did talk about Edom, the history of them, and then now we're gonna kind of brush on this here too, because it relates to them. Christmas is a sun worshiping pagan holiday. Everybody should be fully aware of that now. Everyone should be fully aware of that now. For those that do read the Bible, I want to show you something real quick, because a lot of humans say they believe, they glorify almost everything. I mean, look at the example of this dude that got shot. Now they want to make a holiday out of him. Where does it say that in the Bible to do that? Where does it say to do that? What scripture gives you the excuse to do that? No matter what political belief you are in, this book is not about politics. It can be twisted into it. There is politic in it, but it's not about politics, in case you don't know what politic means. Psalms 8:3 says, when I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained. Consider. It's as far as things should be. Now, we left off in last class around this section, by the way. So I want to start off here. And again, me particularly, do realize, and you guys should as well, that these bastards, when they showed up, they said we were sun worshipers. They tried to put that or pin that pagan shit on us. Yet they've always been sun worshipers. They glorify this character, right? White Jesus, and they put a shrine behind his head as if he's the God and the Son. But they don't look at it like S-O-N. Now, kind of like in Freemasonry, the initiates don't know what they're worshiping. Well, the Christmas Christians, the basic low-level ones, like they don't even know what is really going on. They think they're worshiping a person or an entity. They're worshiping the sun. Psalms 104:19 says also this. It says, he appointed the moon for seasons, the sun knoweth his going down. So the creator here is clearly showing us how the sun is a tool, not something to worship upon. Psalms 148. We read that here too. Praise ye him. Praise ye him. Sun and moon, praise him. All ye stars of light. You see? However, in Christmas Christianity, we have people fighting for specific holidays. Now they got some politic going on, claiming that they want to establish a so-called Sabbath. They already established Sunday as the Sabbath by law in 1880, something around that time. Forgive me if I misquote the date. We're back at this again. Look, this is strictly, number one, without a doubt, sun worship. And I'm going to show you. I want to finish the class. Let's go.
The fourth commandment.
Keep the Sabbath. It's about us being here on Saturday. Is that ironic or what?
And so part of keeping the Sabbath holy is not working on the Sabbath?
That is, yeah.
Would you be willing to postpone your bills so that we're not breaking the 10 Commandments by working on the Jewish or Christian Sabbath?
See, this is where he gets it wrong. There is no Jewish Christian Sabbath. The Christians, right? I would say the WASP in this case. The WASP And all you dumbasses that believe in this and worship this on Sunday, they go to church on Sunday. No offense to my mom, but she does do that. This is your Sabbath is the Sunday. Like, you made that shit by law. Go back in history and you'll find out that it's legal. It's a legal fucking document. People were getting arrested for working on the Sunday because they assumed that their seventh day was the day before. As I said to you, we left off in the almost halfway through, a little bit halfway through the last class.
Albert,
and we stopped here. So let's begin. I want to get this done. Let's go.
Mackey repeated Mr. Pike's contentions with comments like these about sun worship. Quote, "It was the oldest and by far the most prevalent of all the ancient religions. Eusebius says that the Phoenicians and the Egyptians were the first who ascribed divinity to the sun. Hardly any of the symbols of Masonry are more important in their signification, or more extensive in their application, than the sun as the source of material light, star as a type of the myriad suns that light other countless systems."
I want to add real quickly here that just because you'll see people that's like, oh, well, they're Christians, they can't be Masons. No, yeah, you can be a Christmas Christian, a Muslim, a so-called Jew, Islam, whatever religion, and still be in Freemasonry. So that they make it there, it's very significant to them what that power is. The East is what they call it. And that's even written in the Bible how people were sinning, putting their back towards the Most High, the Creator, facing the sun.
Of worlds is an emblem of that Masonic light in search of which every Mason travels, the correct knowledge of the deity and of his laws that control the universe, unquote. Now, closely allied with the symbol of the star is the symbol of the sun. Albert Pike identified it with the worship of the past in this collection of quotes from his writings. And pay close attention.
I do want to point something out real quick. If you guys realize this number 33, right? That number has something to do with that dude that got shot. Let me see if I can find a little skit, but let's continue.
Quote, "The worship of the sun became the basis of all the religions of antiquity," unquote. Quote, "Thousands of years ago, men worshipped the sun. Originally, they looked beyond the orb to the invisible God. They personified him as Brahma, Amun, Osiris, Baal, Adonis, Malkarth, Mithras, and Apollo. Krishna is the Hindu sun god," unquote.
If you guys recall something here real quick. 2nd Ezra 13, right? I'll say 41. This is the 10 tribes. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Why? Because of what we just saw. There was a heavy dose of sun worshiping. Let's listen to it again.
Him as Brahma, Amun, Osiris, Baal, Adonis, Malkarth, Mithras, and Apollo. Krishna is the Hindu sun god, unquote. Quote, "The Gauls worshipped the sun under the name of Belin or Belinus," unquote. Quote, "The sun is the ancient symbol of the life-giving and generative power of the deity. The sun was his manifestation and visible image," unquote. Quote, "The sun is the hieroglyphical sign of truth because it is the source of light and of a deity that should be worshipped." He chose to capitalize the first letter in the word, the S, as one would in recognizing the name of a deity. Adepts certainly knew that the people would not accept. Only the believers in the religion known as the ancient mysteries understood. These believers, called adepts, certainly knew that the people would not accept their mystery religion, so they had to conceal it from them. So the task became one of creating a religion around a belief that they knew the people would accept because it would make some sense, at least as far as the adepts would explain it.
Now, if you keep in mind what we were reading yesterday, you can see the name of Odin as a pagan worshiping, right, deity. Now, one of the books that I brought out actually said that their ancestors were, once they did their due diligence on their ancestors, that they were satanic worshipers, meaning heathen mentality, worshiping just anything but the Creator.
But their basic purpose was to create a popular religion as a cover for their secret worship. The secret religion would be built around a belief in the sun. The sun would be a perfect thing to build a religion around because of its basic nature. It is very visible and has a very important role in man's life.
If you consider mythology uses a lot of that shit. Let's go.
It rises in the morning, it appears to be born and then sets during the evening. It appears to die and then appears to be born again the next morning. It also appears to wander in the sky, setting further north or south each night. It then returns back to any given position twice each year. So the sun appears to have a major birth or death twice each day and twice each year. It would, of course, be very easy for the adepts to explain to the people that only something bigger than mankind, a god, had the ability to die and come back to life. So the adepts would teach the people that they had to pray to the god, or it would choose not to return. They encouraged a worship of the sun so that it would return to mankind again either once a day or once every 6
There we're getting a good idea of the history of worshiping the sun. Now, here why I believe this is very important to you and I is because of the fact that when they came to this continent, they made you believe that you were a sun worshiping, sacrificial, paganistic savages. That's what they made you believe. Now look, there's only 4 people watching. I appreciate you. All praise to the Most High for that, right? That's all that matters at times. Because guess what? As long as you continue to feed your flesh or your lust, you're never going to fucking get it. I'm telling you that since the beginning of our situation with these people, we have learned the ways of others in such a deep manner that it's so hard to wash away. And I see it. Even within people that I at least in some way deal with, share some of these things, they can't wrap their mind around that. What? Worshipping the sun? No, that's not what Christmas is about. It says here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it in this page. Is it this one I'm looking for? Pearls of the Republic. Let's see. Armageddon. Nah, that wasn't the one I was looking for. My bad, family. Let me get this other one here. Hold on. There's this one. There it goes. 2 Republics. So now I brought this book out yesterday. Okay, and let me just kind of go here real quick. I'll show you the name. The other one was the Perils of a Republic. This one's the 2 Republics of Rome and the United States of America by Alonzo Jones. Okay, 1891. Let's go to, I'm just going to show you something real quick, and then I'm going to get to some pages. As you can see, the Roman word in this book is 624 times. So it's consistently comparing Rome to the U.S., Rome to the U.S., Rome to the U.S. You get what I mean? Rome to the U.S. It's really what it gets into. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Let's go to page 255. And again, we're talking about sun worship here. Remember, they told you, Raza, that you guys are sun worshipers. That's what they told us. That supposedly they showed up and we were fucking worshiping the sun. Now, if you want to stick to that story, bro, shit, that's on you. That is totally on you, man. I'm not here to convince you, dumbass. I'll tell you this right now. But if you're still doing your Christmas Christian celebration and shit, you know what I mean? Chatting it up all, on your channels and or following channels that don't fucking say nothing important, but you just think it's just I don't know, bro. I don't know what maybe it is that way. Maybe it's supposed to be just like that. Just exactly what it's supposed to be. Here we see the true cross in Constantine, right? In this section, we start talking about sun worship. So let's read this real quick. Okay. Let me see if I can trim what I want to read so I don't read too much and lose you guys. Let's see. We'll go to this shit junction to the word. Wag pure deity, suspect subject. True God appellation. Christian emperor. Give me a moment. Little action scene. Roman pagan. Let's start here. Let's start right around here. In earlier times, the pagans would have bowed down in homage before this manifestation of the nameless tutelar deity of the new city. All right? We're talking about Rome. At the present period, they had become familiarized, as it were, with the concentration of Olympus into one supreme being. The Christians would, of course, remember, this is what we're talking about. Oh, what's up, brother? Good to have you here this morning. I'm going to try to get this done because I have to be out of here by in about an hour and a half. So hopefully I can get as much out as I can. And it says here that at the present period, let me skip. Sorry. The Christian world would, of course, assert the exclusive right of the one true God to this appellation and attribute to his inspiration and guidance every important act of the Christian emperor. So basically attribute his aspiration and supreme guidance from who? From Olympus. So here we are seeing an inclusion of a paganistic ideology in Christianity, because this is what Christmas Christians actually believe. You guys want to say that you're God-fearing? Fuck your God-fearing. You are demons, because quite frankly, you're not even reading the Bible. You pick and choose what you want to do. You want to condemn people for their lifestyle, but your ass is breaking the least of his commandments as well. But you know what? Let's continue here. Yet a little later, this section seemed to indicate that he had reverted to paganism alone. For when in 330 AD, the actual work of building the city was inaugurated, the ancient ritual of Roman paganism contained a solemn ceremony which dedicated a new city to the protection of the deity. And Sopater, a Neoplatonic heathen, assisted with this heathen ceremonies at the consecration. Now it says here, however, in building the city, he fully acquainted himself as the estimation of both pagans and Catholics. For while he erected magnificent edifices for the Catholic Church, he also set up images of pagan deities in all the public places of Constantinople. Let me tell you something. If you guys ever seen the Vatican, let me see, Vatican demon statutes. I think that's how you spell it. Statutes. My bad if I don't spell it right. Look what we're talking about here. Look at this shit. This is in the Vatican. What are these images, bro? Are they trying to give you images of hell? I mean, I don't know how this seems even logic. Like, how would it even make sense to a child? How would it even make sense? You see designing like that? I mean, look at this shit. First of all, it says do not make any image whatsoever. And then you go abstract image crazy like this? If the inhabitants were not encouraged, at least they were not forbidden to pay divine honor to the immortal sculptures of Phidias and Praxiteles, which were brought from all quarters to adorn the squares and baths of Byzantine. The whole Roman world contributed to the splendor of Constantinople. The tutelar deities of all cities of Greece, their influence, of course, much enfeebled by their removal from their local sanctuaries, were assembled. So keep in mind that prior to this here, okay, you still have the pagan Visigoths, becoming themselves, and I think a little before they become Franks, like, you know what I'm saying? When they start seeing that they were all tribes, man, like you know what I'm saying? Tribe people. They had their own deities. We read that yesterday regarding Odin and Woden and all that crazy shit up in those northern parts of Europe. Because we're talking about, Rome at this point, and it's, you can say, close to the Mediterranean Sea. Go up north, and now we're talking about other pagan ways. Let me see this. Let me skip here. The emperor himself held a golden statue of the fortune of the city in his hands. An imperial edict enacted the annual celebration of the rites. On the birthday of the city, the gilded statue of himself, thus bearing the same golden image of the fortune. How many statues do we see? Or have you seen? Because I haven't been to a church in a while like that. How many statues do you guys see in there? Several statues. So let's read this here real quick. The lingering attachment of this is on page 258. The lingering attachment of Constantine to the favorite superstition of his earliest days may be traced only still better authority. The Grecian worship of Apollo had exalted into the Oriental veneration of the sun. As the visible representative of the deity, and all of the statues that were introduced from different quarters. You see this? As the visible representative of the deity, and all the statues that were introduced from different quarters, none were received with greater honor than those of Apollo, because he represented the sun. In one part of the city stood the Pythian, in another Smithian, and another the Smithian deity. The Delphic tripod, which according to Zosimus contained an image of the god, stood upon the column of 3 twisted serpents, supposed to represent the mystic Python. But on still a loftier, the most famous pillar of porphyry stood on the image in which, if we are to credit modern authority, and the more modern our authority, the less likely it is to have invented so singular a statement. Constantine dared to mingle together in the attributes of the Son, of Christ, and of himself. Once again, Constantine, the creator, originator of Christianity and all these religions that came out of that shit that branched out, he said Constantine dared to mingle together the attributes of the Son, of Christ, and of himself. And of himself. According to one tradition, this pillar was based, as it were, on another superstition. So, as you can see, you have an individual, you got paganistic beliefs, and you have this in Christ in this environment. Now, the reason I'm saying it this way, family, is because there are some people that don't believe that there was a Messiah. So I kind of throw that back and say to them, if he wasn't for real, right, even the enemies would not mention him. As you can see and hear, the Talmud talks very negative about, quote unquote, this man that they say, quote unquote, wasn't real. Old Testament keepers also believe this. So I say to myself in question, well, if he wasn't there, then why does the enemy even want to talk shit about this imaginary guy, quote unquote? So I do know that Christianity is a pagan religion. I do know that without a fucking doubt. Around the head, instead of the rays, were fixed. Let me go back here. Hold on a second. The colossal image on top was that of Apollo, either from Phrygia or from Athens. But the head of Constantine had been substituted for that of the god. Check this. The scepter proclaimed the dominion of the world. So this image that you guys have and you glorify, right, is basically with Constantine's spirit behind it. The scepter proclaimed the dominion of the world, and it held in his hand the globe. You know, for all you BHIs that love to diss the Christmas Christians, right? You guys love to diss them. I mean, fuck, man. You have this Nate the Snake, a picture of his ass holding 2 fucking globes, 1 in each hand. What about that shit? You're no different in paganistic ways. You guys want a fucking image too. You just want it to look like you with black woolly hair and black skin. It's just fucking crazy. Emblemic of universal empire. Check this out. Around the head, instead of rays, were fixed nails of the true cross. Is this paganism approximating to Christianity, or Christianity degenerating into paganism? So you see, these Christmas Christians, they put him behind a cross now, right? So then that's it. That's a paganistic practice. I don't know how much more pagan you can be. Let me see if I can go here. Hold on. Boom. 259. I did write that in there. Let's go back to the difficulty. The program is more and more inspires. Okay, so let me see if I could read this here. Here we go. This is after we finish here. Okay, so it says, we are satisfied that the reader will have no difficulty in answering the question which is here propounded. It is no more certain that he despised and pitied paganism while he was solemnly offering sacrifices to Jupiter and winning the admiration and love of the Roman world for his imperial piety. Then it is certain that he pitied and despised the Church of Christ, even while he was manipulating the faith into a sure and reliable support of the empire. I don't know how much more clear these things get for you guys. I really don't know how much more clear it gets for you guys. You are literally seeing, in effect, a relationship, a blend of paganism and so-called Christianity that so-called was sent. Even while he was manipulating the faith into a sure and reliable support of the empire, in both courses he only played with the world, giving men any religious toy which the greater part preferred to have in exchange for the liberty of which he robbed them so plausibly, and successfully that they scarcely perceived his theft and enthusiastically caressed the royal thief. It's kind of like what's going on today. It was the same mixture of pagan and apostate Christian wickedness, the origin and the process of which we have seen in the chapter on the falling away. Check this out. Nor is it the record yet complete. In 35 AD, in the further exercise of his office of bishop of bishops in the church, Constantine convened the Synod of Tyre to examine further into some questions that were raised in his Trinitarian controversy. So we're seeing this just constant embracing of beliefs in one doctrine. In 337 AD, Constantine was taken with a serious illness, and being satisfied that he was about to die, he called for an Arian bishop and was baptized. Then he was clothed in robes of dazzling whiteness. His couch was covered with white also. In the white robe of baptism, on a white deathbed, he lay in the expectation of his end. At noon on Whit Sunday, the 22nd of May, on the 64th year of his age, and on the 31st of his reign, he expired. On Sunday. So passed away the first Christian emperor, the first defender of the faith, the first imperial patron of the papal see, and the whole Eastern Church, the first founder of the holy places, pagan and Christian, orthodox and heretical, liberal and fanatical, not to be initiated or admired, but much to be remembered and deeply to be studied. So here, clearly, we see a statement that says that it was this man, first Christian emperor, first defender of the pagan faith, who brought together what? Pagan and Christians together. Orthodox, heretical, liberal, and fanatical. This is why you have so many branches of Christianity. This is the reason why you have so many branches of Christianity, because they're all pagan. So you can take one route based on so-called Christians, so-called Orthodox, so-called heretical Christians, so-called liberal Christians, so-called fanatical Christians, so-called Christians, but never Christians, just pagans. Let me show you this real quick. Here we see some pictures here. And now I'm going to show you an image. Let's see if I can get to it. Hold on. Deliverance from Son, Israel. Let me read this real quick. Someone comes to this council decided to the whole satisfied to be then to cut off the community church. Okay, let's read it right here. It says, but the council did not stop with the consideration of the question which it was summoned to consider. The bishops and council now took it upon themselves to legislate in matters of discipline for the world and to bestow special preference and dignity upon the Bishop of Rome. Check this. They ordained that Easter should be kept on the same day and on a Sunday by all the churches of the world. Here we see what Daniel was talking about. Daniel mentioned this here. Now we know, which one is it? Daniel 8, I believe. Let me see if it's 25. Yeah. 8 and 7, I believe. Daniel 8 says in 25, and through his policy, he shall also cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Actually, I think it's 7:25. See. There he goes. Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of times. But here's what we see, and think to change times and laws. Here we see one law that does not relate to the book. They ordained that Easter should be kept on the same day and on Sunday. Why? Because the Roman emperor, the first one, died on a Sunday too, supposedly, by all the churches in the world. So now you're not just worshiping. What the hell does the egg have to do with a rabbit, first of all? And what does it have to do with the book, the Bible? You know what I'm saying? The Torah, the Tanakh. What does that have to do with it? Anyhow, we know now what it has to do with it. But let's continue. And the Bishop of Rome should announce to the churches the particular Sunday upon which it should be celebrated. You see? The way that they celebrate, this is Christians. When you guys go Sunday church and shit, you know what I'm saying? Your Sunday church. And you go have an Easter, time, and like, oh my God, I'm gonna go chase some eggs. You are worshiping, honoring Constantine. No one in the Bible at all. At all. And this is not me saying it because, I don't agree with your belief. No, this is me reading it. That says here, the question as to which was the Catholic Church having now been decided. Constantine and his next apostle could add yet another distinction title. It says here, ordered that the church should be restored to the Christians, the whole body of the Christians without distinction. But the Catholic Church asserted to its role cite to designation, Christian, hold on. Man, this is funny. Yesterday my throat started hurting for no damn reason, and it's starting to do it again today. It's crazy. But you know what? I need to get through this. We need to get through this. The original Sunday legislation. What do you mean, man? Original Sunday legislation. You guys understand what that means, right? Sunday law. Sunday law. Let me go back to 172. Hold on. I missed a picture. Let me go back this way. Did it 172? I think it's 172. Let me show you this picture real quick. I don't want to forget. Órale, güey. Let me go back. Here it says here, the original Sunday legislation. The church was fully conscious of her loss of the power of God before she sought the power of the state. See this here? Had she not been, she never would have made any overtures to the imperial authority, nor have received with favor any form of it. Just like today. If people really believe in your so-called God, they wouldn't have to be forced to do things. And what I mean force is through the state. Like some people say, oh, you shouldn't abort, right? Obviously, that's wicked shit. I get it. But your believers, right? Your believers don't believe that, even though they'll still want to believe in Christianity. So you had to pass a law, which is an imperial authority. There is a power that belongs with the gospel of Christ and it is inseparable from the truth of the gospel. That is the power of God. In fact, the gospel is but the manifestation of that power, for the gospel is the power of God unto the salvation to everyone that believeth. Well, that's what Christians believe. And again, we also see what else they believe. That's why when you see John 3:16, that everyone should be saved. How can you teach a doctrine that has paganistic rituals, paganistic roots, and then claim that everyone can be saved? This is why they believe that, family, because Christianity was put together by a lot of different ideologies, theories, assumptions. It's like, I like rocks, you like birds, and for us to get along, we create this bird rock image, and we're now friends because, hey, you kind of like what I like and kind of look, you know what I'm saying? So this is basically Christianity. I have no, gosh darn it, damn devils. I know you're trying to hurt my throat. I know it, man. It's just funny, fam. Like I don't know why it's bothering me now. It's crazy. Now, let me get to another point. Why do I keep bringing this up? Why am I hearkening on this Sunday worshiping thing? And how do we continue to prove it? Let me show you something real quick. Hold on. Sorry about that, family. Just my throat's really bothering me, man. Let me go up here real quick. Damn. That's crazy. All right, let me start. It says, this, however, was but the beginning. The state had been an instrument in the hands of the church, and she was determined to use it for all it was worth. As we have seen by many proofs, one of the first aims of the apostate church was the exaltation of Sunday as the chief sacred day. Sunday. And no sooner that had the Catholic Church made herself sure of the recognition and support of the state, then she secured from the emperor an edict setting apart Sunday, specially to the purpose of devotion, as the sun was a chief deity of the pagans, and as the forms of sun worship had been so fully adopted by the apostate church, it was an easy task to secure from sun-loving, church-courting Constantine a law establishing the observance of the day of the sun as a holy day. Again, I am not reading this. I'm not saying this because I assume that it's a religion of Sunday worshiping. No, I am reading this to you people. And this also goes for the, so-called atheists. So-called atheists and shit. Like, I'm not religious. I don't believe in any of that. I know some people, family, that say shit like that. I don't believe in that. I just celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and all these things that these Christians created because, I just want to be around family. No, listen to yourself. You're celebrating winter solstice. Let me read it again. This, however, was but the beginning. The state had become an instrument in the hands of the church. We're seeing this happening right now, currently, in our society, in this government. And she was determined to use it with all its worth. So do you think that the churches, evangelicals specifically now, in secret, Catholic, whatever, they're not supporting this movement? As we have seen by many proofs, as one first aims of the apostate church was the exaltation of Sunday. That was a chief sacred day. And sooner had the Catholic Church made herself sure of the recognition and support of the state
Then she secured from the emperor an edict setting apart Sunday, especially for the purpose of devotion. Why? Why is this so important? Why did this church that claims to believe in the Bible, that they take it upon themselves to take advantage of, as soon as the sun was the chief deity of the pagans, and as the form of the sun worship had been so fully adopted by the apostate church, it was an easy task to secure from the sun-loving and church-courting Constantine a law establishing the observance of the day of the sun as a holy day. So here we see that through sedition or by deception, you created a religion. You brought believers into your congregation and used their lust to worship your God. Do you know what's so interesting about that, fam? Man, oh man. I honestly did not expect to, I was going to save this video after, right? But it's like, his brother did a video. I appreciate you, man, for doing this, right? And he talked about the spirits that people move with. Hold on. Now, this is not necessarily Sunday worship video, but it's not different than what we're reading. We are seeing people taking advantage of the opportunities of people's ignorant belief. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say stupid belief, ignorant belief, because they don't know any better, I should say, because they don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they, whatever. Let's just leave it for that right now. So they said, hey, well, you know what? You're a pagan. You believe in sun worship. So I'm going to create Christianity and use that opportunity to make you believe in my religion. So you're not believing really into what you're believing in. I mean, you're believing into what you want to believe in, but at your own style, at your own benefit. Like, don't fully include yourself into my belief. Just kind of as long as you like, because that's technically Christianity, family. You can see it in the way that they go about doing the things, man. Christians, Catholics are different than Christians. Protestants believe different than evangelicals. Evangelicals are not Lutherans. Lutherans are not Protestants, I don't believe. And you have Mormons who believe in another thing. And you know what I'm saying? Every single one has his own branch, yet they all believe in Sunday worship, except the Calvinists. They think they're getting away with it by that way. But yet they still celebrate Christmas every year. Sunday worship. At the end of the day, it's all Sunday worship. What I find it so interesting is the similarity in the way that this other group took advantage of people. Excuse me. And you know what, family? I kind of want to show that video because my throat is really hurting me, to be quite frank with you. And I really don't understand why. As soon as I started doing this class and yesterday's topic, my throat started hurting. So, let me read this to you before I do play that video, because I think you're going to kind of like it. Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. Look what it says. Now, when Daniel knew that the writings was signed, he went into his house, and his wisdom being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Now, think about this for a moment. Daniel sees something go his way. Perfect. Now he says, I'm going to pray to the Father to thank him. Good. But he says he kneels towards Jerusalem. So the question is, where exactly is Daniel at this moment? Where is Daniel at? Well, Daniel, at this moment, he is in, I hope I get a good picture here. Yep. He is in Babylon. Here. Okay? See that Babylon? So when Daniel thanks the Most High, he faces west. He doesn't face east. He faces west. So when somebody says kneel to the east, let's say from us, you're kneeling towards Jerusalem, the quote unquote holy land. We understand now that it's not just the land, it's the people, and those people are not the real Jews. So, I get it. I get what you mean, but it's towards the land. That's the concept here that I'm trying to place. But Daniel is in Babylon. He's not anywhere else. So instead of him looking east, he is looking where? West. Now, why is that important? Because if you go to Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 14, now we start seeing Sunday worship was a big fucking thing. Just like Freemasonry, Christianity, Islam, all of that shit. It's literally worshiping the sun, the moon, the stars. They're doing it one way or the other. Astrology, numeric crap, all of that shit is paganistic. Watch this. Ezekiel 8:14. Then he brought me to the door of the gates of the Lord. This is Ezekiel in the spirit. The Lord's house, which was towards the north. And this is exactly why they say towards the east. So the Lord's house is towards the north. They're praying towards the east. Here we see that Daniel faced the west. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Now we know Tammuz has a lot of different, a variety of names. Baal, Belus, Esus, El, Odom. Yes, I'm sorry. Odin. That's also, we read it yesterday. Then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. Then he says, and he brought me into the inner courts of the Lord's house in the north, and beheld at the door of the temple of the Lord between the porch and the altar. This is why Freemasonry has those things. This is why churches have the same fucking things. We're about 5 and 20 men with their backs towards the temple of the Lord and their faces towards the east. And they worship the sun towards the east. This is why when you think of Sunday church, you think you're serving righteously because you are reading the Bible and you're doing as people might tell you. But you're technically worshiping the sun. Let me see if I can get this. The Queen of Heaven and Earth PDF. Let's see if I can get this. Give me a second here real quick. That sucks. Thought I had the book. Don't I have the book? Let's see, family. Second. Oh, come on, man. Hold on. All right, let's see the files. Wayne. Here it goes. Check this out. No. Check this out, Pamela. This is from a book called Queen of Heaven and Earth. Okay. The Queen of Heaven and Earth. All right, in this book here, I'm going to show you something very interesting. Hopefully I can actually get to it real quick. Hold on. Where are you? Okay, give me a second. Here we go. It's not a lot of pages, okay? So you can see. This is on page 9. And watch this. Let's see. The name of Zadok, the Israelite priest, is related to the same root Semitic word as Zedek. Could Ashtart, a Phoenician wife of El, as Venus has been the consort of Zedek? We do not know that what the Jebusite temple, which originally stood in that site of Solomon's temple, looked like. We can understand from the excavation of the 13th century BC Phoenician temple at Hazar and the 19th century one at Tel Ta'inat shows that Solomon's temple follows exactly the time-honored Phoenicians patterns. All Phoenician temples incorporated 2 pillars, originally a wooden one for Ashtar or Ashtoreth and a stone one for Baal. However, this would be further evidence of an official state goddess religion in the united monarchy. Later, Manasseh built altars to all the host of heaven in the courts of the temples. Altars for star worship were built on the roofs of the houses, and horses and chariots were dedicated to the worship of the sun. Star worship of the Queen of Heaven, and possibly including Jupiter, continued in Judah until the 8th year of Joshua's reign. Here we see Ezekiel describe the worship of the sun as practiced in the court temples. So we just actually read that. Facing the east. Sunday worship was a very serious matter at this time. It was a very serious matter at this time. Let me see if I can get this up. Let me show you this too. And I think I showed you this last time. Because all of these things matter. We're talking about a Queen of Heaven here. Take this off. Now I want to show you this page here. This is from Yahweh and the Gods of Canaan. It's a historical analysis of 2 contrasting faiths. We're going to go to page 130. Okay. And I'm going to show you this real quick. And this is regarding, Canaanite, Baal, all of that stuff, okay? Anath was, not surprisingly, an extraordinarily cruel goddess. Hold on a second here. Let me do this real quick. Cruel goddess, represented as having slaughtered mankind from the rising of the sun to the shores of the sea. Apparently, the slaughter delighted her, since her heart rejoiced and her liver exulted over the massacre. Okay? So we see here, let me read this real quick. Beneath her were heads like balls. Above her were hands like locusts. You see this? Above her were hands like locusts. like long ass fingers, kind of like the character that fought Spider-Man. His hands all like, you know, kind of like that image at the Vatican. It's crazy, man. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. She plunged her knees into the blood of warriors, her thighs into the blood of youth. Let me see if this is it. Hold on. Here goes. Here's another example. 129. Extensive mythological materials of Canaanite origin is to be found in the great Egyptian magical collections from the 19th dynasty. The most striking of the Canaanite myth of Anath preserved in Egyptian dress runs as follows. This is interesting. Anath was bathing on the shores of the sea, and Hamkat Baal went for a walk and raped her. Okay? So here's a guy that sees a girl and starts raping her, leaping her as the sacred ram. Now, in case you guys don't know this, in the Talmud, it says that Adam was having sex with all kinds of animals before he had sex with Eve. So keep that in mind. Leaping her as a sacred ram, as if he was a ram. That's why you see the image of, you know, a ram, a goat. And you know what I'm saying? Now you're seeing this shit. It's crazy. Forcing her as a forces. Check this out. Baal fell ill because of this, but Anath came unexpectedly to rescue. So she's like, oh, don't worry about it. You just completely raped my shit. But it's okay, because I see you crying now. Yeah, I forgive you. You didn't really mean it. So check this. Anath, the victorious. Here's where it gets even more interesting. A man like woman. So Baal raped a man like looking woman. Dressed as a man, but girded as a woman. Went to the sun god, her father. Replied at some length, stressing Baal's folly and ending. It is punishment for his folly, since he had intercourse with her in fire and raped her with a chisel. Now you see why. You see the image of Baal, or at least, you know, like Luciferian image, and there's like this rod there. Ending, it says here, the chisel of Anath appears in another magical text. On Roman coins, the divinity of Ascalon named Fani Baal, presence of Baal, has been recognized as a man-like goddess with slender, uncovered body in female, with slender, uncovered body in female dress, but fully armed. Do you understand what you're reading here? Do you guys see what we're talking about? There is some serious connections to these mythical goddesses, paganistic beliefs that are all involved in Christianity, because again, there's this woman that they worship, the Queen of Heaven. Check this out.
Lo que quieres hacer es apropiarte de las mujeres. Quieres apropiarte de la feminidad y convertirla básicamente en un disfraz que se puede usar. Así puedes sentirte como quieras. Quiero decir, podría sentarme aquí y decir que me siento como una planta de tomate, pero eso no significa que realmente soy esas cosas. Entonces, tu autopercepción, puedes tener la autopercepción que quieras, pero no puedes esperar que participe en esa autopercepción o que forme parte de esta especie de farsa, de esta producción teatral. No puedes tener tu...
Consider what we just read, I would assume that would be what they're looking at. That's what I think. That's what they're looking at. Now, this is even more interesting, because here's an image. Let me take this off. Here's an image weeping for Tammuz. Now, I find it so striking to something that I've showed you guys many times. Something like that. Something like that. It's very similar to their Sephiroth. Groves. Their groves, their design is very similar to that of the Sephiroth tree. Again, we are looking at enough material to, I don't even want to say to convince you, but to prove to you that before you go and believe and celebrate and practice and apply certain faiths, you have to know what that faith is about. That's not, I'm not here to judge, man. I'm just here to show you. The rest is up to you. We're going to go to page, let me see, what's the other one? So as you can see here, that the polar sun, we're getting a more of a different idea here, but the Holy Land, Egyptian paradise, the world wheel, the one-wheeled chariot. We've known of the one-eyed God, right? The enclosed sun cross, temple crown, vase, eye, circular serpent, eye. Once again, Odin had one eye. I'm not trying to, recreate, and make people assume that. Here, let me take this off. Let me go to page 21. Check this out. The Saturn myth reconstructed. From the foregoing evidence, a distinctive portrait of Saturn emerges. And the earliest age recalls by the ancient, the planet or the protoplanet came forth from the cosmic sea to establish dominion over the probable cosmos. The planet God ruled as a solitary centralite, worshipped as God one, the only God in the beginning. So here in the creation, Saturn, the primal seed, ejected the fiery material. So now we're looking at some mythological shit here. Okay. Now here's where it even gets more interesting. When Saturn departed the world, the golden age catastrophically ended. Who keeps talking about the golden age today? These Republicans are saying that a lot. The golden age. Why does Elon Musk keep saying he wants to go to some other planet? Saturn in the sun, the polar sun. Saturn's mythical history includes two themes, which not only contradicts the planet's visible appearance today, but seems to mark the canons of the modern astronomy. Saturn, not the solar herb, was authentic, sun god of ancient ritual. So here we see that Saturn is basically a sun god. Throughout Saturn's reign, this sun planet remained fixed at the north celestial pole. Sun planet, that's what they say. The myth and rites celebrate Saturn as the primeval sun. So now, hold on, let me read it. The two themes affirmed by the straightforward testimony of the ancient sources compose a global memory. In the beginning, Saturn did not move on its present remote orbit, but ruled as the central sun around which the other heavenly bodies visually revolved. In this tradition, early man has left us evidence far too numerous to cover fully in this volume. I offer below a summary of the principal sources. The myth and rites celebrate Saturn as the primal sun. The primeval sun. Today, a few mythologists looking back across several millennials to the beginning of astral religion see anything more than worship of the rising and setting sun the solar orb. So here, without getting too much into this whole, shit, it may just let's see, before the sun glories, the sun. All it's really what it's saying. To be quite frank with you, is that Saturn is the sun, sun is the Saturn. It's really what it is. But we see this constantly. Let me see if I can. This is, I mean, and you know what? Like, matter of fact, this is a good segue. Check this out. Let me see if I can go here.
Around when you were at the Grand Lodge of Luxor.
Hold on.
Not a Roman. There weren't no cracker at all around.
Here goes right here. All right, so check this out. This sun worship, Sunday worship, or even their belief that, some people say that they're the people of the sun. That's what they say.
The same Greek was allowed. When you were building the pyramids, the first stone structure, not one, not a Roman. There weren't no cracker at all around.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries is another professor at the City College of New York. The man who was at one point in charge of the Black Studies Department at the City College of New York actually got to teach students in his class that white people are ice people and that black people are from the sun.
Let me repeat that again. Okay? Because again, we're talking about sun worship. And now some people are saying they're the people of the sun. And by the way, when they say white folks, they're including you, light skin, raza too. Don't think because you don't look like a gringo, they ain't talking about you. They're talking about you too.
New York actually got to teach students in his class that white people are ice people and that black people are from the sun.
When we make the contrast between African development in the sun and European development in the ice, the value system of caring and sharing that comes out of the sun, the value system of what I call the communal, cooperative, and collective development, as opposed to the value system of the ice. And I've given it that nomenclature because ice fits what I want to say is the value system. It's a crass individualism, taking care of me, even in neglect of your family, and a competitivism, an amoral competitivism for C. So you have I for individualism, C for competitivism, and E for exploitation, super exploitation, exploitation of by any means necessary. So it's this value system of ice which contrasts the value system of the sun, which becomes the important foundation for our understanding of human history.
They never learned to be scared. They never learned to hate. They never learned to harm people. If they wanted it, they prayed for it. And most of the time they didn't have to pray for it because it was already there. The sun people. They lived in harmony with nature, the sun people. They believed that men should be with women and women should be with men, the sun people. They had no concepts of feminism. They had no concepts of homosexuality. They had no concepts of anything that was anti-nature because the sun people were a nature-based people. But there was another group of people called ice people. They didn't have no damn sun. Truth be told, they didn't have no damn soap either.
The Hotep philosophy advanced.
So again, I'm not saying it, they're saying it. This is the beauty about just, going about your business and studying this shit, because eventually you deem and express yourselves. We don't have to. So I'm going to end it with this video. Thank you, brother, for making this, because it reminds me of the deception of people, man. You use paganistic beliefs, like Christianity is no different than BHI family or whatever these other people are teaching. They put together a program that's deceptive and uses your weakness and your stupidity or ignorance in order to make you believe into something that is not true. Then once they have part of your faith, you know, you're not fully involved, but hey, at least you believe in this. Guess what? That's good enough to bring you in. It's time to destroy these religions, these ideologies, this bullshit, fam. It's time to get rid of it. All right? Enjoy the video.
First Peter 2:1, wherefore, laying aside all malice, you, all of you, all guile, every single one of y'all have it, including myself, and hypocrisies, we all have it, and envies, and all evil speaking. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. Which is why when I read Isaiah 28 now, and I see this Isaiah 28:9, it says, whom shall he teach to understand doctrine? And whom shall he teach to knowledge? God, slow down, bro. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So here it started telling me, before I can even grow from the milk is going to help me get rid of all of this here, because it's correction. That's what the milk is about, correction. Some of y'all didn't understand when I was trying to explain, but I'll say it, correction. 1 Peter 2:2, as newborn babe, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. So the beginning steps was baby steps.
Christians. So this is 2 Corinthians 12:16. It said, but be it so, I did not burden you. Nevertheless, being crafty, I caught you with guile. Now, I'm going to say that, you know, we used to do this when we first came into the truth. We used to catch brothers with trickery. And what do I mean? We persuade men through fear. So when they would come over to our house, and we would show them videos like martial law and race riots, and we would kind of persuade them, being persuasive through like showing them the said perils and the catastrophes to come, to push them into this truth, to kind of get them from tarrying, from teeter-tottering on the line. So that's the guile, or the trickery rather, I would say Paul was using in his day and with some of the people to get them to bite on the truth, in other words.
Yeah, I got a scripture on that too.
Go ahead.
This is Jude 1 and 22 through 23. It says, and of some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the spotted by the flesh.
God, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You have an individual on the internet who he died a couple years ago, an elder brother by the name of Naphtali ben Naphtali, right? And he said that Elder Bivens had the chart out there, and he said, oh yeah, I just got this to get people in, and then we tell them later that it's not true.
Abba Bivens get up with that impressive voice and that stately manner and that white beard.
And he also used to wear a turban.
And he wore a white turban. One time we were over there and they had the charts up. And they had the charts that said if you're Jamaican, you come from this tribe, and if you're from Barbados, it's that tribe, and boom, 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 boom. And read the book, said, hey, come on, Pop. What is, you know that ain't right. He said, of course, Danny, I know that's not right. He said, but that's the hook. That's how we get them into place, and we wire them up to what's true. Well, you know, years later, after he passed away, and his sons and all of them, they either died or moved away, the Tanakh school began to teach those things as truth. This is the truth, you know. And
first off, let's think about this, right? How would you expect people to trust you if you hook them in with a lie and then you told, oh, that was a lie the whole time? I just said that to get you in here.
We used to do this when we first came into the truth. We used to catch brothers with trickery. And what do I mean? We persuade men through fear. We used to catch brothers with trickery. And what do I mean? We persuade men through fear.
How would you expect people to trust you if you hook them in with a lie and then you told, oh, that was a lie the whole time? I just said that to get you in here.
So that's the guile or the trickery, rather, I would say Paul was using in his day and with some of the people to get them to bite on the truth.
Number one, if the first thing that you do to me is lie to me, that sets a horrible precedence for the rest of our relationship, our friendship, right? Number one. So that's not even sensible.
Neither deal falsely.
Go ahead.
Neither lie one to another.
Bible says neither lie one to another. Don't lie to your own people. Bible says neither lie one to another. Don't lie to your own people. All right? So when you got situations where, and I'm not calling anybody else out, but it's said, I wasn't there, but in certain situations, it was said that various different entities knew that the teaching of this 12-tribe chart, that it wasn't 100% truthful, that it continued to be utilized. Well, you judge. You be the judge from what you just read. Is that lawful? It's like me telling you what you want to hear, but knowing that there's something else that I should be warning you about. How would you feel about that?
1 Peter 2:1, wherefore, laying aside all malice, you, all of you, all guile, every single one of y'all have it, including myself, and hypocrisies, we all have it, and envies, and all evil speaking. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. It's time to dissect these people. Why? What's going on, man? You know what I mean? We like to put names on things, right? I like to put titles on people. Okay, let me read it. For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of these people, saying, say ye not a confederacy. Tell all them to whom this people say a confederacy. Neither fear ye their fear.
We persuade men through fear.
Listen, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. A confederacy is like a group of people making you believe something.
Uno.
Su cabeza y sus cabellos eran blancos como blanca lana. His head and his hairs were white like wood.
That's right.
White as snow. Como nieve, sus ojos como llama de fuego, and his eyes were as flame of fire. Sus pies semejantes al bronce fundido, and his feet like unto fine brass. ¿Qué significa? Sus pies semejantes al bronce unido como penny.
Right here. Penny. See, look. The penny.
¿La diferencia?
The brass penny.
Tienes. Go ahead. Okay.
Which is, remember what I said? So psychology first attacks your mind and then it gets your spirit. Neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Then it says, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your bread. That's why, scripturally speaking, it says what? Don't be your respecter of people. Fear him. Show thyself approved unto God, not man. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And this is what BHI, I'm telling you, BHI is doing is, that you hear the regurgitating crap all the time, and then you find holes in their, whatever they call doctrine or devils, and you realize, no wonder you got holes. This is the same group of people that told us in 2000 the world was going to end. All of a sudden, we're supposed to forget that?
It will be blown off the face of the earth by the year 2000. It's talking about judgment day.
And he's coming back. And he's going to take down the white man, the Edomites. That's why your Pope is down in the ground. It's going to happen by the year 2000.
America's going to be wiped off the face of the planet Earth. That's going to take place before the year 2000. That's right. America has less than 628 days before this country is taken out and thermonuclear destruction.
This kingdom, America, is going to be destroyed. before the year 2000. Evil kingdom that God spoke of in the Bible. And all you so-called white people, your condemnation, you are condemned to what? Hell. And you're going to be in hell, you're going to be oppressed before the year 2000. Christ is going to come back.
Museum America is going to be destroyed before the year 2000 by thermonuclear destruction.
This is the same group of people that told us in 2000 the world was going to end. All of a sudden, we're supposed to forget that? Didn't they tell us Christianity brought us this situation? And don't forget that, but hey, forget about that. So neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. I'm sorry, verse, should I read it? Yes. And he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling, and for a rock of offense to both the house of Israel, and for the jinn, and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So see, when you fear the Lord, and you listen to these people that are telling you, hey, no, don't read that. You out the spirit, Doc. Why? Nah, what do you mean? Why you believing that, man? You out the spirit. No, you got to stay right here, within our books, right here. And because you believe them, psychologically speaking, then your spirit got afraid, and you believe them. Which is why a lot of you guys are in these classes, in these camps, wanting to step outside, but you're afraid. You know damn well I'm not wrong. Because they put the fear of spirits in you. Not the spirit, not the one you're looking for, not the spirit, but spirits. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, it says, now the spirit the spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times, some depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits, doctrines of devils.
Seducing spirits and doctrines of devils.
I'm going to take you deep into some words and seeing what the hell we're talking about here. In case nobody's ever showed you guys, let's hear this word real quick.
Strong's G 4151 Pneuma.
So when people tell you, you got the spirit, you got the spirit, they don't even know what they're talking about. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let's dissect this. Okay? Let's hear it again.
Strong's G 4151 Pneuma.
Okay, so we have that. Now that means spirit. Holy Ghost. Spirit of God. Spirit of the Lord, my spirit. We're going to touch on some of these things, but we're not going to use this translation to touch on those, okay? I'm looking at something real quick. If the third person of a true and God, the Holy Spirit, co-equal, co-eternal with the Father and the Son, which some people call it the Trinity. Never referred to as a dispersonalized force, yada, yada, yada. Let's continue. Breath of nostrils of mouth. Remember that? Genesis, right? Okay. Now here is the curiosity where it started to kick in for me. We're going to look at soul. We already hear a lot of spirituality. Oh, you got to be spiritual. Oh, those Christians are so spiritual. No, you know, BHI said, man, if you got the spirit, you got the spirit. You bringing out the scriptures, Oh, but they don't know what the spirit word means. So let's go to this word right here. Compare G5590. Now check this out. Now it says this.
Strong's G 5590. Psuche.
But when you read this, it's read like psyche in a sense. Change that to QU. Because when you look at this, you're talking about now the soul, the breath of life, right? But in reality, what are you trying to tell me here? When you say that this word, in its rootness of it, means psyche. It doesn't pronounce it that way, but it's the root word of psychology. The psychology. So it says now, let me close this up. It says, now the Spirit speaketh expressly. When people talk to you, you have to understand their psychology, the spiritual psychology. How are they trying to communicate with you? What exactly is their intent? And you want to know something? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And that also means how they act and where they're coming from. Because no matter how many scriptures they say, because you know what? They'll tell me, oh, when I show you all these other books, they're going to be, oh, you're going out. You're folly, this and that. You got a spirit. Really? Okay, sounds good. But then you got people that say, I read the whole entire book. And they don't know crap. But yet, guess what? Satan read the entire book too. So what about that? Don't be fools. Now the Spirit speak it's expressly. It's kind of difficult for me to say it. That in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits. It's not spirit. It's spirits, because the word spirit is ruach. This is not spirits. This is psychology. Giving heed to seducing psychologies and doctrines of devils, which then affect your spirit. It gets your mind first, and then it attacks your spirit. But see, if you don't know that, if you just think, oh, it's just spirit, oh, I don't know what spirit means, well, guess what? It has a lot to do with your mind. So what do these people, or what are they doing to destroy you? Okay, now I'm going to show you something real quick. They're using your mind, right? They're using your mind. That's where they attack you. That's where sin began. That's exactly what Wisdom of Solomon 14 said. It started with religion, but what did they put with that religion? What is the concept of? Religion means a group. And then remember the propaganda concept, the conscious development of the conscious, something about that, that it's important for them to psychologically change you first so then your spirit can follow. I'll give an example. When you have anxiety, what is that reason? Why are you anxious? Why you wake up sometimes in the morning, you're like, man, I don't know why, bro. See, you don't know what you're dealing with, because you got a lot of psychology within you, and you don't realize it's messing with your spirit, which is why Wisdom of Solomon 9, 13, and 14 says the mind and the spirit fight all the time. But one is a little more powerful than the other if you don't prepare yourself. Now, let me show you this real quick. And this is because, again, if it resonates with you, then you may understand. And if not, you're going to go and check out some other channels and, hey, go debate, man. Go enjoy yourselves. Go feel that flesh, because that's what the spirit is about now. I want to feel the flesh now, man. I want to be angry. I want to be right. You selfless, like, what do you call it? You guys are idolaters of yourselves, man. Remember where they learned this from. Never forget, I showed you guys this book by Bishop Matthews, right? Where Sakari, ISUPK, IUIC, and GMS, and all these camps are off from. They can deny all they want. But guess what? When you look at them, you realize, what a bunch of hypocrites. What a bunch of hypocrites. Because this is where this BHI doctrine came from. We're going to dissect this one, and we're going to look some other ones too. It's not the only one, but it relates a little bit. I showed you this book, Black Israelite by Crowledge. So there, I'm not going to read thoroughly. I've seen it, but I've showed it to you guys before. But I want to point out some of these things. You see, this guy here, Pentecostal churches and its secret knowledge drawn from Freemasonry, Jewish Kabbalah, and African American conjuring. So it's talking about that the BHI's beginnings were of Freemasonry and Jewish Kabbalah and African American conjuring, meaning African stuff that you guys did over there. Now, we know what the star is like. I mean, you guys can ignore it all you want, man. You can ignore it all you want, but I'm going to show you what the star is really meaning and the relationship to the star. It's borrowed from popular esoteric sources, would have included Freemasonry, spiritualism, spirits, black nationalism, it's about being black and woolly, and African American versions of Orientalism. Very interesting. So, but that's not my point. We're seeing, though, that there's a history to this people, to this so-called Matthews that was teaching these people, because all of you who are so-called BHIs, you all come from this, and don't deny it. You do. So now, if you say Christians are devils because they worship whatever, this and that, or they change the laws, okay, sounds good then. Well, guess who changed your stuff? You come from Kabbalist science and the hidden theology of Black Judaism. Where does this come from? It comes from here. Now, I've showed you guys other books, which is like the lost myth, the tribe, or the lost tribes of myth, and he actually talks about this. The commandment keepers, that's where they came from. One member of the commandment keepers. ISUPK knows this. IUIC knows this. GMS knows this. All the leaders of them camp leaders, they all came from this. Tell me I'm wrong. You're not. You will never tell me I'm wrong. Because you can't. The 6th and 7th book of Moses? Are you serious? Why is that? Because it says here, Moses became identified with Hermes Trismegistus, the emerald tablets. Wait a minute. Hold on a second here. So now I'm going to read this to you. Matthew's personal papers in the Scumdom Library in New York included 2 amulets, of geometric design in Hebrew words borrowed in part from the 6th and 7th book of Moses. Okay, now. Is that in our book, so-called Bible? Old, New, and Old, Apocrypha, and New? No, it's not. And did they ever share this with y'all? No, they didn't. These amulets offer an unparalleled view into the hidden transcript in the private settings where Rabbi Matthews performed the more secret, transformative rituals at the hidden heart of Black Israelism. Let me read that for you to. Let me read that again, so people can hear it in the back. It says, these amulets offer an unparalleled view into the hidden transcript in the private settings where Rabbi Matthew performed the most secret, transformative rituals at the hidden heart of Black Israelism. So everything that you hear about Black Israelites comes from this. This is their root, okay? The square amulet in Matthew's personal paper was modified from the second temple of the Spirit of Fire, down on page 16 of the 16th and 7th book of Moses. What makes the derivation of Matthew's diagram from the de Laurence diagram indisputable is the fact that the de Laurence has produced a calligraphic error in the Hebrew that Matthews has repeated. The word at the bottom, haka'ak, meaning the power, has been miswritten. An errant vertical cross closes the gap. Look at that. What is that? Some kind of squared Hebrew diagram? What are you worshiping? In the middle letter, making it. I don't really want to get into it. I don't want to take too much time on this. Excuse me. It says here, let's see what else. There it goes. Look, it says here, the diagram consists of several Hebrew sentences printed over Magen David, literally a shield of David, or a 6-pointed star, which is common Kabbalist referent, man. So go watch that channel over there, bro. Go watch them. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy that beautiful so-called wicked star. Enjoy it, man, because you're being led by spirits, and this is why it hasn't changed. These are the same people, just to tell you, because Christians will tell you, hey, being gay is cool. And, not the Republican ones, but, you go to church and they tell you, being gay is cool. It's okay. You can accept them, right? What's any different with that? Or, for example, you got these people in the streets now walking around with guns at camps.
Murder! Yo, get the fuck out of my face! Don't get in my face! Don't get in my face! Don't get in my face! Motherfucker! Hey, you trying to die tonight? You trying to die tonight? Yeah. What's up? Come on. What's up?
Yes, they have guns at camps, and they're telling them, well, we carry them in case somebody wants to get shot. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe yo soy un lelo, you know what I mean? Maybe I don't know enough, I don't know. Maybe I like to keep things simple. But if I recall correctly, I remember something in Luke saying something like this. Okay, I'm just saying. Luke 9, and it says here, and he said unto them, take nothing for your journey, neither staves, meaning sticks or a stick, nor script, meaning nothing planned to, I'm going to teach them this way. No. Neither bread, neither money, neither have 2 coats apiece. And whatsoever house ye enter into, there abide, and there then depart. And whosoever will not receive you, when ye go out of the city, shake off the dust from your very feet for a testimony against them. No. But you know what? Sakari now, it's okay to carry guns. I don't know what other camp is doing it, but that's the psychology. That's the spirits. But again, why are they acting that way? Because this is the root of them. This is the root of them. So the understanding that supposedly Nate, the dirty snake, has, or General Johanna has, or whatever you camp owner has in GMS, or whatever dumbass camp that you guys are listening to, that said that the end of the world within 2000, this is their root. Right here. This is their root. Jehovah? Oh, I'm going to show you what that means, bro. I'm going to show you what that means. Amulets, incantations. Matthew, God is even possible that through the ritual use of these amulets and incantations, Matthew believed himself able to unify the triune parts of the Pentecostal Godhead. God is the Father, he is the Son, and they meet via the medium of the eighth fire, the Holy Spirit. The Kabbalist diagrams that Matthew based his parts on the publications of De Lawrence seems to have provided ritual blueprints for the embodiment of divine power in the manner consist with reputedly Jewish. Didn't what's his name, the Sakari group? Didn't they say that they read the Talmud? You got time to study that, bro? It's very clear. So where are your sources? So your spirituality, where you guys come from, Black Israelism, was lived through secret spiritualists and Kabbalist rituals that taught openly through Masonic affiliates and Sunday schools. On a larger scale, the rise of mystical African American esoteric religions at a height of 1920. You see how they use knowledge righteously or unrighteously? Is it really to teach you to grow, to give you sincere information and knowledge for you to change? Or is it to make sure that they're the head and you're the tail?
The penny, the brass penny.
Proverbs 27:21, as the fining pot is, for silver. I'm sorry, as the fining pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. But then Proverbs 27:21 says, fire is the trial for silver and gold, and a man is tried by the mouth of them that praise him. The heart of the transgressor seeks after mischief, but an upright heart seeks knowledge. So the work has to be done. I'm showing you this so you can see, like, what there's so much out there that could easily confound you, and if you are not focused on what's really important, I've showed you examples of what really matters. It's not about knowledge. It's not about you knowing more than others. It's about how much more does it need for you to change within yourself, to let go of these old ways, to really, really be an example, not just to your family, but to the nations. Because a lot of you guys I don't think a lot of you guys think that way. Y'all hate these other nations, yet the scripture said, man, you're the example. You're the light. But you sure as hell don't show it. You don't show the light. Not one bit.
All right, fam. Appreciate you guys being here. I got to go, so I'm going to finish it up now. Thank you very much for showing your support. Please share this video, like if you can. I'll see if I can do another class tomorrow, and then, we'll see y'all next week. Other than that, enjoy the song. Only one song, and then we out, man. Have a good weekend. For all you guys that have a rest day today, happy, 7th day. I know everybody doesn't keep it the same. All right, so y'all have a good day.
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black 50, soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, falto me. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flujo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tabue? Juro por mis abuelos que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por pico sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle taco pro. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black shit. Black Sea Mental de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luigi, man, desempeño en la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, Money Gang Gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lele, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo Kizai. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. Yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. Yeah. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tenía, ya nada es igual. Yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Tiene que respetar. Yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. Yeah. La calle limeña aquí nada le doy, ya nada es igual. Yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Si yo soy tu papá, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cinco Mob, negro. Yeah, Cinco Mob, nigga. Yeah, Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, yeah. It's Money Gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Te espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor intérprete que ha parido de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clown en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y dos por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Yango en la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Mental, hip hop peruano, rasgo en la maldita base.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros, pena tan grande. Yo soy tú, tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.